Onside.
Dolphins game, and it's an onside kick.
Good night, my sweet prince. May you rest easy. Well, with that out of the way, welcome back to the Onside Kick Show. I am very excited and also very depressed. Yeah.
Yeah, mixed emotions for Bears fans, huh?
Yeah.
How do you really feel?
I'm sad, dude. But at the same time,
it's the Caleb era, bro. The Caleb era has begun.
It's like this. It's like this, man. You break up with the girl who you now know is not the person you're going to marry, but you had so much fun with her.
Yeah.
And then you immediately find the love of your life. You're like, damn,
Caleb?
like, this is awesome, but like, I don't know if I'm over previous shawty, you know?
It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah.
You could always watch highlights and stuff.
That's true.
You
I'll
still
always
got
have
your
that.
jersey. Like,
yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not going to burn it or anything.
Yeah.
10 likes and I'll burn it. No. Yeah. It's a new era in Chicago. It's going to be a different era. Hopefully one that wins. But I'm sad to see Justin go, man.
Yeah. New era for you guys. You got Caleb coming in. Did come at a cost, though. You know, Fields, you did not get what he's worth. You can't sit here and tell me Sam Darnold, Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett, some of the guys that went for, like, their value was higher than Justin Fields when free agency started. So definitely didn't get what he's worth. And Pittsburgh made some great moves. They got two pretty solid quarterbacks for so cheap. They paid probably like, I don't know, they're going to pay these two quarterbacks, what, like $16 million this year in total? Like, what's Fields' contract looking like?
Oh, they're not paying him $16 million. They're paying $4 million in total.
They're paying Fields $4 million?
They're paying Fields $3.5 million and Russell Wilson $1.2 million.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're cooking. Their quarterback room is so sturdy, and it's very cheap as well.
Yeah. So you guys, I would say you guys got fleeced, but it was worth it. It was worth it. Your franchise is starting over today. It's a new birth for Bears fans. From what I could tell, they're excited. All my Bears friends. You still got pick number 1, pick number 9. You can go ahead and get yourself Caleb Williams and then maybe like a Roma Dunze or maybe like a left tackle. I'd say, bro, I get excited.
Yeah,
you know,
I am excited, man. Don't get it twisted. Caleb Williams is one of the most exciting quarterback prospects we've seen in the last 2 decades. So I am excited. I'm just, you know, my heart. It's a sentimental time. I think all Bears fans kind of knew it was coming, but weren't ready to accept it. But yeah, we missed a lot. We were gone.
We missed a whole lot, man.
What were you up to last week, man?
I was in New Orleans, man. I woke up in New Orleans to the news of, you know, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, Saquon, all those. Woke up kind of out of a dream, and I was just like, whoa, I forgot that was today. I was like, shoot. And then, you know, that was Tuesday or Wednesday, and I remember thinking, I was like, we got an episode to record. But unfortunately, I was down south. Zach, I don't know, what were you up to?
I was just petting the dog, man. Nothing crazy. Taking my car, free missions, bunch of random errands. I voted.
You voted?
Yeah.
Yo, attaboy.
Yeah.
Everybody make sure you go and vote. Be like Zach.
Go vote.
Yo, way to be.
And hey, if you're interested in politics, we're going to talk about politics later.
Yeah, we're going to get real political.
Yeah, so just you wait.
Who'd you vote for? No,
I wrote in D's nuts. We'll see if that works. No, I didn't actually do that, but shout out the guy in like North Carolina a couple years ago who actually like got like 1% of the state to vote for D's nuts.
Yeah,
for president.
and I think if we
crazy.
keep pushing, we could probably get like 5% of the state to vote D's nuts.
D's nuts for prez.
Yeah, but enough of the politics for now. What do you think? The Bears made some big moves. You went and got Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams era is starting.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I am feeling great. I'll get over Justin. I hope he does well in Pittsburgh. They got a really good guy. He's a really good kid who's going to work hard in that building. But for us in Chicago, we have a generational prospect at quarterback. If we end up taking Caleb, I could see the Bears just being like, J.J. McCarthy, hometown kid, get over here. And at that point, I will move away.
I would laugh so
and
hard.
never watch a Bears game again. But yeah, pro day as we speak is going on for Caleb Williams. Keenan Allen is already down there dressed up in Bears gear, dapping up Caleb. We got him for a 4th rounder, so I'll take that.
You got him for what, 1 year?
Yeah, 1 year right now. He's coming off of one of his best career seasons. He is going to be 32, but he is a amazing receiver. He's been a borderline top 10 guy the entire year, arguably top 5, but there's so many guys. So
way too many guys, and that opens up so many doors for you guys because now you don't really need a wide receiver in the first round. There, people were thinking like Rome Odunze at 9 or Malik Neighbors at 9 for you guys. Now you can go ahead and get that tackle from Penn State or that tackle from Oregon State. Go make a move.
Yeah, and I do think that getting Keenan Allen doesn't rule out us taking a wide receiver at 1 because if we do only have him for a year, like Caleb. He's probably not going to win a Super Bowl in his first year, right? So you could extend Keenan and then go get a guy who will grow along with Caleb.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have other needs. Like we could get an edge rusher.
Yep.
I could see Poles. Poles was a former offensive lineman. I don't know how many people realize that. And so he understands the value of O-line. That's why he went out and got the big guy last year, Darnell Wright. So I could see us doubling down, get another tackle on the other side. That would be kind of insane. That's why I feel like the Bears are in the best spot because there has never been a number 1 pick that has gone to a situation like this where you're not a number 1. You're the 10th worst team. You had the 7-10 record, but you're picking like you're the worst. So you plug in Caleb. He has 2 top 10 receivers to throw to, top 10 tight end. Like, what do you mean?
2 top 10 receivers is crazy.
I'm saying you can argue. You could both of those guys. You can argue like 9 and 10, right? There's a lot of guys in there, but 2 top 10 caliber type receivers. Okay. We'll say that.
Yeah.
You can argue at their best for sure. You can argue that Keenan Allen is the best route runner in the league, to be honest, at least in his prime. He was an underrated route runner.
Yeah, dude, because Justin Jefferson just isn't in the league.
Like I said, you can argue. Like in his prime. Okay. Maybe not right now. But you have that. And then at 9, like I said, you could go receiver and have a crazy trio. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, either Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
You could go edge rusher and then have Montez Sweat and like Dallas Turner or Jared Verse, just be insane. Or you could take a tackle and then have Darnell Wright and a behemoth like Olu Fashanu or Tyrese Fuaga protecting both sides. So I don't think we can go wrong here. I'm really excited. We got DeAndre Swift too. We extend Jalen Johnson. The team, the future is bright. But I do want to say, R.I.P. Barbershop Schefter.
Yeah.
He owes a guy $5,000.
And also, isn't his mom like... His mom, right? Didn't he put it on his mom?
He said $5,000 on his mom, so unless he wants to say goodbye to his mother, he's got to hand over $5,000 to that random guy on Twitter.
Yeah, that's a tough deal to make, bro. That's why I don't put stuff on my mom like that. Like it was already written that Fields was gone. Caleb Williams was just too good a prospect, and that's why it was just so obvious that the Bears weren't going to get rid of that number 1 overall pick. They were getting rid of Fields, so therefore his market kind of mid, man. You got what, a 6th-round pick? Maybe I think I heard if Fields plays 50% or more of the snaps, you'll get a 4th-round pick. And the Steelers have already come out and said that Russell Wilson will be the starter, eliminating really any questions going into training camp about who the starter is going to be. So, hopefully Fields can get some playing time in there. Hopefully, actually no, I was gonna say hopefully Russ gets hurt, but hopefully Russ doesn't play as well, and then Fields can come in there for the back half of the season, maybe get that 50% of the snaps. Maybe you guys get your 4th-round pick. Mm-hmm. That would be nice. But I think you guys are sitting pretty with the new weapons. You got DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen. So, yeah, as a NFC North rival, I'm a little bit concerned, to be honest, about where this team is going.
Well, you guys made some moves, too. Tell me about your franchise. How are the Lions doing so far this free agency?
We're looking good, man. Took care of some defensive problems that we had last season, specifically at the corner position when it got Carlton Davis for only a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah.
I'll take that. And I think we're paying him like $14 million this year. He said that he wants to sign an extension, but said he also wants to go out there and earn it, which is cool. Like, you love that. He's on a contract year, so, go out there and play like you're on a contract year. Lions also made a move, 2-year deal, I think $28 million for DJ Reader, the Bengals D-tackle.
Massive human.
we just loaded our D line now with Aleem McNeil and him and Hutchinson. So pretty set there. You know, took care of the defense a little bit. Also signed the Canadian Football League defensive MVP, Matthew Betts. So I don't know.
What
I
in the
mean, best
world?
player in the Canadian Football League. He should be solid in the NFL, right?
What position does he play?
He's like an edge rusher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's solid. Pair him up with Hutch.
Hey,
I
the
don't know,
only
maybe he's
other
good.
the only other Matthew I know that spells their name Mathieu is Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah.
And he was pretty good. So
Yeah.
maybe that's a sign.
We went and got Kevin Zeitler, former Ravens offensive guard, you know, going to take Jonah Jackson's role. So I'm happy where we're at right now. I think we've freed up some space to go make some moves in the draft. So I'm beyond excited right now for my franchise. These moves just scream like, you know, not only do we sign all these guys, but we also signed Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell to an extension through the 2027 season. So, like, to me, these signings are just screaming like we're all in, like we're trying to win this year, next year.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I'm happy
Yeah.
about it.
They look good, man. They look good. And, you know, it's good that you traded for a corner because, one, Carlton Davis, super underrated. I don't know why the Bucs traded him. It was probably they just couldn't pay him.
Yeah.
But you do have one cornerback who you may have to cut loose soon because right now, thanks to Warrant Wednesday, Cam Sutton is actually being hunted by the police
Heard about that.
for some domestic
Yeah.
violence issues. So
If you're an
yeah.
NFL player, like in your offseason, just avoid Florida. You know, like I feel like nothing really good happens in Florida. Nothing
Nothing.
good happens in Florida that you can't do in any other place where there's a beach.
Yeah.
It's only like dudes always just come out of Florida like with a wanted tag on them, and yeah. So I'm, you know, I mean, it is at the end of the day, it's Cameron Sutton. I'm not really too worked up about it. Oh no, Cameron Sutton. He's not like our top 2 corner on our team. But yeah, you know, if he's got a warrant out, you know, do the just thing. Go get him, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, we got to get your boy. Well, team's probably going to release him, so. I mean,
Yeah. That would suck.
Yeah, another pro tip, if you want to have a successful career, whether that's in the NFL or anything, just, like, don't assault people.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty simple rule to abide by.
Yeah. It's the golden
um,
rule, bro. Treat others how you would want to be treated.
Right.
Although Cam Sutton did get beat a lot this year. So I don't know.
Well, enough of that. Police will take care of him. Free agency is still ongoing. There's still a lot of guys available. Like Justin Simmons is, I think, the highest guy that I could think of. Mike Williams just went off the board to the Jets. There's a couple other players, and a lot of other teams made some really good moves. Texans seem to be loading up. We could sit here and talk about that all day, but I think since we're a little late on that, let's talk about some more recent or some more new or relevant stuff that's coming up. So the draft. The draft is in a month and a week from now. There has been a lot of talk about people trading up and down the board. I'm thinking that the first 3 picks might be quarterbacks because you got the Bears. They're obviously taking one now. Commanders, they traded away Sam Howell. They're going to get a guy. Patriots, I think they need a flashy guy to go in there, but there's a lot of people who are saying they might maybe trade down. A team like the Vikings is pretty much begging to move up in the draft. They traded with the Texans, got their first rounder, so now they have 11 and 23 or 22. So I have a question for you. Do you think that the Patriots are going to stick at number 3 and take a quarterback, or do you think that there's a possibility that they trade down and maybe get a quarterback later or go somewhere else entirely?
Yeah, I think the Pats and the Vikings are pretty similar here in this situation. The Patriots got the 3rd pick. In my opinion, I see them taking Jaden Daniels there. The Vikings, you said they're sitting at 11 right now?
Yeah, I think it's 11 and 23. I'll double check that.
That's kind of the McCarthy Penix area that you want to be at. Penix, that would probably be a reach right there. But if McCarthy falls to you at 11, that seems exactly like what Minnesota could use right now. Have him sit behind a guy like Sam Darnold for a year or two. Yeah, if I'm the Vikings, I think you just kind of got to play it by ear a little bit. You know, if J.J. McCarthy's, I mean, in Daniel Jeremiah's mock, he had the Vikings trading up to 4 and taking J.J. McCarthy. If that talk keeps up and J.J. McCarthy's sounding like a top 10 guy in the draft, I think the Vikings are going to have to make a move, trade up and get him. But, yeah, I like the Patriots where they are right now. I think Jaden Daniels would be a good fit with this new era that's starting in New England right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it might be tempting for them to trade down. I mean, just based off of the new staff that's in the building, though, I'm wondering like what direction they want to go to because, you know, Bill Belichick, they had their whole way of doing things. Now you got Gerard Mayo do things a little differently, maybe. I know Belichick was a big fan of Jaden Daniels when he was there. That was what the rumor was. I could also see if the Commanders take Jaden Daniels at 2, you can maybe get some more explosive, mobile playmaking type of thing rather than Drake May, who's like the physical guy. Maybe the Patriots are like, well, we play Josh Allen 2 times a year. Why don't we just get our Josh Allen? Go get Drake May. Compares pretty nicely.
Yeah, I mean, Jaden Daniels could be that guy, too. I mean, we saw him last year, 15 rushes a game. It was crazy.
Yeah.
He could be that Josh Allen type of guy.
That's true, yeah. It's just not from, a physical perspective, but both of them are explosive guys, yeah.
Yeah, just big-time playmaker, and that's what you need in this league.
Yeah, so I think that could go a bunch of different ways for them. We talked about our top 5 quarterbacks in the class in last episode, so if you missed that, be sure to check that out. Let's see. Did you have McCarthy in your top 5? Did you have him at 5 or do you have him at 4?
In my my quarterbacks?
Yeah.
I think I had him at 4.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm not the biggest McCarthy fan, but a lot of people are talking about him getting taken in the top 10. The Giants are another team to watch, them taking him at 6. I think that's why teams would have to hop up and get him. But yeah, personally, I think besides those top 3 guys, you would be able to wait a little bit on quarterbacks, but it depends on how desperately you want a guy. Then really all the positional value kind of goes right off the board. Well, in a little bit here, we're going to talk about our top 5 running backs in the class. This year has a really interesting running back class. But before we do that, we're talking about quarterbacks right now. Let's play a little game. So I have 3 quarterback names here. We can alternate in terms of, saying who's who. But we're going to see if you would take the quarterback that I name over any of the other guys I name after. Make sense?
Yeah.
So the first guy we have is Justin Herbert. Now I'm going to ask you a couple names here, and I want you to tell me whether you would rather have Justin Herbert or the other guy.
Okay, so should I be thinking Justin Herbert on the Chargers? Would I rather have these guys on the Chargers, or maybe Herbert in my offense, the Lions offense? Who would I rather have?
You know what? Let's say you're starting a franchise. Who would you rather take?
Okay,
let's do that.
Yeah.
So first up, we got Justin Herbert versus Josh Allen. Who are you taking?
Starting a franchise? I'm going to go Herbert just because it did take Josh Allen a couple years to get his feet under him. Justin Herbert had that outstanding, one of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen. Mechanically, he's just perfect. Physically, he's built perfect. Prototypical quarterback. That's exactly what you want. Josh Allen is a little bit more of a risk taker, high risk, high reward guy. Yeah, I'm going Herbert. I'm going Herbert for my system quarterback.
Okay, interesting. I think you can argue either way. I mean, Josh Allen's more proven, I would say, in terms of playoffs. But,
yeah.
I mean, when you break it down, they are similar players, both strong arm, big body. You can make, plays with their legs as well. Do you think that most people would agree with you taking Herbert over Allen?
Honestly, probably not. Just because, Josh Allen has a proven track record, and Justin Herbert hasn't won a playoff game. Am I right?
Right. He had a 20-point lead.
Yeah.
And then
lost to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I had to pick, I would probably take Josh Allen at this point. And the only reason, I think if you're talking regular season, I'm taking Justin Herbert. But in the playoffs, Josh Allen is a completely different guy in the playoffs. He's only turned the ball over, I think, a total of 4 times in the playoffs. Has 20-plus touchdowns.
True.
So I think when it really matters, he locks in. And for that reason, I would personally take Allen. But you can kind of go either way with that one. Well, what about this one? Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow? Who would you rather have? Damn. Start a franchise.
I would just say Joe Burrow because on the field, I think they're very similar, but Joe Burrow is just a better leader. I think he's a better, locker room guy. He's got that swagger to him. Proven himself in the playoffs, made it to a Super Bowl, lost to Stafford. I think I would take Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's really up for debate, honestly. Who would you take?
I'm taking Joe Burrow as well.
Yeah.
I figured you would take Herbert over Allen, so I put one there just to give you a little heat check, make sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think Joe Shiesty got a little edge over Justin Herbert. Well, what about this one? Justin Herbert or C.J. Stroud? Who would you rather have?
Damn. Very similar, right? Very similar guys, just in the way they play and those rookie seasons. Justin Herbert had one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time, and then this year, C.J. Stroud pretty much broke all those records. So I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. Who would you take?
Me personally, I am going to go with Herbert only because we've only seen 1 year of Stroud.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm very cautious.
I mean, Stroud already has more playoff victories than Herbert, right?
That is true. Man, that is actually tougher.
And I
than
feel like you
think.
can't even make that argument with Herbert that he doesn't have the right weapons around him because neither really did Stroud. And he won a playoff game. So
At least Nico Collins, maybe he's developing into a weapon. Tank Taylor developing into a weapon. But yeah, instead of terms of proven guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Man, you might be changing my mind here. Herbert or Stroud?
It's tough.
Well, if you had to pick one.
From what I've seen, the throws I've seen, like the big plays, I think I'm going to go Herbert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go Herbert.
All right, so that one, we'll have to revisit that one in a couple years, but I'm not going to give Stroud the crown just because he had one really good year, because the NFL is obviously going to try and figure it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And Herbert has been able to put up good numbers for the last couple of years, but yeah, playoff success is another thing. So that's interesting. Well, C.J. Stroud, we're talking about him, right? Let's pivot to him. So to start your franchise, would you rather have C.J. Stroud or Trevor Lawrence, former Caleb Williams-esque prospect?
Yeah.
Number 1 pick in 2021.
Wow. Two AFC South guys. I don't know, man. We haven't seen the development that we thought we would from Trevor Lawrence. You could blame that on Urban Meyer, pretty much trying to sabotage his entire career. C.J. Stroud kind of had a different type of atmosphere around him in the building. Two very different situations. It really does matter where you're drafted and what kind of pieces you have around you. I guess at this point I would have to just say C.J. Stroud from what I've seen. Trevor Lawrence, don't get me wrong, like super fun to watch, great quarterback, great arm. But through 3 seasons?
Yeah.
I just haven't seen the development that we all expected.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's a tall order because Trevor Lawrence, people were saying he was the best prospect since, Andrew Luck, things like that. But yeah, it's high expectations. It's a lot to live up to, but I don't know. He just hasn't really made the progress that I hope to see from him.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually agree with that. I thought you were going to go elsewhere, but no, I agree with that. I think I might take Stroud, even though I just said, it's 1 year. But I still think Lawrence, he was year after Herbert. Herbert has that extra year of experience, even before he was hurt this year. He was playing pretty well. Lawrence, I think, took a big step in his second year, and then last year he kind of regressed a little bit. He had a lot of rushing touchdowns, but in his progressions, he just looked a little slow. He was throwing behind guys. Now, with that being said, it was kind of a weird year because he had guys like Ridley and Kirk, and there's a full 2-minute video of his receivers just dropping touchdowns, like not passes, like touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. But even if you take that out, I watched a lot of his games this year, and he was just throwing behind guys a little bit. He was a little more careless with the football, but I think he was also playing through some injuries. But ideally, for a guy of Lawrence's caliber, you want to see a little bit more by now. Going into year 4, maybe he'll change people's minds. But that is a name to watch because all the other guys in the 2021 class haven't worked out so far. I still believe in Fields. We haven't really seen anything from Lance, Wilson, and Mac Jones now backing up Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know. But yeah, I think I'll also take Stroud on that one. Now, what about this? C.J. Stroud or Jalen Hurts? Who would you rather have?
Man, I'm going Stroud.
Really?
I think Hurts is just a product of his offense. I think he just kind of does what's asked.
Interesting.
And outside of that, I don't really think he's very successful. I think C.J. Stroud is like 10 times the pocket passer that Jalen Hurts is. Hopefully Jalen Hurts makes me eat my words, but I don't know, man. I'm rocking with Stroud after what I saw last year.
Yeah. My logic for Jalen Hurts is the guy was going to win MVP if he didn't get hurt. And while I do think that he could be a product of his offense, he went toe-to-toe with Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Whereas the only thing that we've seen from Stroud so far, he destroyed the Browns' number 1 defense, right, and then the Ravens just kind of ate him up. And Hurts, it wasn't like, all his running backs were making all these plays against Mahomes. Like he had one of the best performances ever in a Super Bowl loss. And so, I think he's allowed to have a down year last year, threw a couple more picks, wasn't as efficient.
He was kind of playing hurt too.
Yeah, that's also true. So to be honest, I might pick Jalen Hurts. Just so far, I think he's a little more proven in the playoffs, even though last year or game against the Buccaneers didn't go as planned.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, got to revisit this in a couple years and see.
Yeah.
Now, what about this one? Would you rather have C.J. Stroud or Drake May to start your franchise?
Shoot, man. I mean, you know I'm high on Drake May.
That's why I'm asking.
I think the obvious answer would be Stroud just because it's proven. Like, that's arguably the best rookie season you've ever seen from a quarterback, except for maybe Mahomes in that 1 year. But that's tough for me, man. I'm going to have to go Stroud.
Yeah.
It's a basic pick, but I'm going to have to go Stroud. Were you looking for me to say Drake May?
No, I was just testing you a little bit. Now, Caleb Williams, is that decision any harder or easier for you? Still going Stroud? You on Caleb?
Yeah, no, I'm still going Stroud. I don't trust Caleb Williams. You know that.
Interesting, yeah.
You know that.
Gavin's got Drake May at number 1. Like I said, go check out those quarterback rankings if you haven't seen that already.
It's the GOAT.
Yeah, we'll see, man. But, yeah, I think I would rather have Caleb Williams is tough to turn down, but because he hasn't played in the NFL, I'm going to say I'm taking Stroud over May. I'm banking on Caleb to be the guy over Stroud.
Yeah.
That's that Bears fan in me. We're moving on. I'm sorry, Justin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But
you kind of have to.
It's a new era.
Right?
We got to. All right, well, I got one more quarterback for you. Kyler Murray. Do we think Kyler Murray is better than Tua Tagovailoa?
Yeah. I honestly don't know why Tua has a job, to be honest.
Wow.
Imagine Kyler Murray in the Dolphins offense.
Ooh, you think?
Crazy, yeah. Healthy, granted, but Kyler Murray's just a big play guy. You've seen him do it so many times, the scrambling out of the pocket, making the deep throws. I think you'll see it from the Cardinals this year. They might surprise people. I think they already have 2 first-round picks right now, working on a third. If you get Kyler Murray some dangerous weapons, he could light it up this year. And from Tua, I just think he's system quarterback. Half of the throws, I'm like, how did he even get that off? How did he even see the receiver? Some of the interceptions Tua throws are just embarrassing. So yeah, I'm taking probably like 30 quarterbacks over Tua, to be honest.
Really? All right.
Yeah,
so this guy doesn't like Tua. We got that out of the way. All right. I think Tua gets a little too much hate, but at the same time, I don't know if he is a guy who's going to win a Super Bowl for you. I think that he does a pretty good job of managing the game. And honestly, a lot of his mistakes came this year because he was concussed like all the time, even last year.
Yeah.
So he's kind of been banged around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it, though. That's part of it.
That's true.
Your best ability is availability, they say, right? And you can't just be getting tossed around like that and expecting to play a good 10 seasons in the NFL as a starting quarterback.
Yeah, so Kyler Murray came off that injury, for himself, and he looks pretty good now. I think people forget that the Cardinals started like 8-0 a couple of years ago with the Cliff Kingsbury offense, which frankly wasn't that great, but he made Murray looked pretty good.
Kyler looked good.
I think if he gets Marvin Harrison, he could make a resurgence because they are still devoted to him. They're not going to get rid of him anytime soon. They said he's the franchise guy. So yeah, I think I'm going to take Kyler Murray over Tua, but that's an interesting one. I think you can debate. What about this one? Kyler Murray or Jordan Love? Who would you rather have start your franchise?
It's going to pain me to say it, but I'm going Jordan Love.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's just...
What team do you support again?
But
continue.
This is my squad, man. I think Jordan Love is just... I almost just said perfect, but mechanically, bro, he's Rodgers. He's Rodgers reincarnated. I think the Packers... It kills me to say it, but they played it perfectly once again, having him sit behind Rodgers for a little bit and just kind of learn from that guy. You can see it when he plays, just the release of the ball, the flick of the wrist, just the mechanics moving in and out of the pocket. He's Rodgers. So yeah, it hurts. Obviously, you mentioned the other day the crossbody throw to kind of end their season in the playoffs. That does worry you, but I don't know. First season as a full-time starter, so I'll give him a little bit more time, but yeah, at this point, I would go with Jordan Love over Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I think just out of my pure bias from the Bears, I'm going to go with Kyler, but at the same time, when we played Kyler, we totally shut him down, and Jordan Love picked us apart. So I might have to go Jordan as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that the crossbody throw over the middle is the only thing that I'm holding on to, being like, oh my God, he's not an all-pro. He's not an MVP, but... He does look pretty damn good outside of that.
Yeah.
And I'm conflicted, too, because I love Jordan Love at Utah State, and he is such a fun player to watch. But it's like, why does he have to be in Green Bay? Why can't he be anywhere else?
It's what they do, man.
So I might be picking Love as well, unfortunately.
Jordan Love's probably going to be a future MVP.
God, I hope
probably
not.
A future, like, 2-time Super Bowl
Go do that on,
champ.
like, the Patriots or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't do that on the Packers. Please, for the love of God. You know what? It's okay, actually, because he can win all the MVPs he wants. Caleb Williams is going to be winning that division every year.
True. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, let me ask you one, man. If we're having all this Kyler Murray talk,
Yeah.
who would you rather have in the Detroit Lions offense, Kyler or Jared Goff?
Ooh, in the Lions offense?
Yeah. Because, I mean, in my opinion, like some of the throws that Goff makes, I see it and I'm like, there's really only like 10 quarterbacks in the league that can make that throw, and I don't think Kyler's one of those dudes.
You know what? I'm conflicted here because for a while I thought Ben Johnson could be a candidate to go to a team like the Bears, work with Fields, because I think if you add or if you give him a quarterback that has that element of mobility, then he can do a ton more. But the offense that he's running in Detroit with the most pocket passer that ever pocket passed, Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Like, it works great. And they almost made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, to be honest with you, sorry if you were hoping I'm taking Kyler because I think I'm going to take Goff. I mean, if you were talking Detroit Lions system, if I'm starting my franchise, I think I might start with Murray.
Okay, yeah.
But in the
fair.
Lions offense, I might take Goff because, I mean, the guy was the number one pick for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's getting his flowers now. Again, I just wish it wasn't in our division.
Dude, is he getting his flowers, though?
I think he's starting to now. I've seen a couple of games like this. What would you rather take? And a lot of people are taking Jared Goff. Or people are saying, oh, Jared Goff is so good. And, that's surprising me to hear because 2 years ago, they were like, he's ass. He sucks.
He was just so consistent this year. Definitely the definition of a pocket passer, and Kyler's kind of the opposite.
Yeah, and the way the offense runs in Detroit, I mean, they run the ball, but when you need to move it downfield, you get the protection going. Like, you have the good protection, good blocking schemes, and you have good routes from a receiving core that doesn't really have much other than Laporta and Amon-Ra. JMO is still kind of developing over there. So, and the offense has been amazing. So, I would take Jared Goff. He works well in that Detroit offense. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's fair. In other news, story came out from NFL.com either last week or the week before. Just kind of wanted to touch on this real quick, get your thoughts on it. The NFL is considering implementing video assistant referees, or VAR, to determine ball placement and line to gain measurements, meaning the chain gang would be extinct if we implemented the VAR tactics. There's an annual league meeting next month where owners will vote on this new rule. It's not expected to be implemented in the 2024 season, so we could appreciate the chain gang while it's still here. But yeah, for my soccer fans out there who know about VAR, it's huge in that sport for the offside fouls that occur. I think I mentioned this a couple months ago. Somebody asked, is the NFL rigged? And I think I mentioned, like, the only questionable thing is spotting the ball, wherever the guy went down. I think that would be, like, the only thing where refs could kind of have a hand in it. You know what I mean? So I think that would eliminate a little bit of suspicion with the whole rigged thing, but I don't know. Who's really even taking that serious? Who's taking that talk serious? But, yeah, this would, in my opinion, I think it would speed up the game. You wouldn't have to have any of those 3rd and inches where they got to bring the chain gang out and then you got to sit through a commercial for a little bit while they measure, where the football is. So yeah, I think the VAR thing, I think this is a good move for the NFL. What do you think?
Yeah, this is so interesting because, I'm a big, I don't know, I could be stuck in my ways. I don't always like change, especially when it comes to technology. As much as we're on social media and everything, I usually, I'm like, oh, they're getting rid of DVDs. Man, I'm sad. They're making all this thing. Just like.
They didn't get rid of them.
I know, but like, there's no more blockbusters anymore.
We're losing recipes. You seen that clip?
No. What are you talking about?
Michael Irvin.
Oh, what?
It's like, they don't know how to cook. We're losing recipes.
This generation's so screwed, man.
Yeah, my bad.
No.
English Premier League fans, they've been quoted saying that VAR has made the game less enjoyable since the introduction of it, and they'll attend fewer games because of it. The increase in pauses during a game has been a huge factor with soccer fans. Great number of fans saying that they would most likely support VAR if there was a time limit for the amount of time VAR takes when in use. So I guess it's kind of an efficiency thing, because if you watch any soccer, like sometimes there will be like a 50-50, was he onside or was he offside type of call. And soccer doesn't really go to commercials that often. And like when they're reviewing VAR, they might take a commercial break because it does take a minute. In the NFL, I wouldn't see it being too much of a problem, especially with all the visual effects that they have already on the field. Yeah, I think it's a good move. It's a step in the right direction. The NFL has been so traditional for so long that I think this is kind of something that they have to do.
The one thing that I'm really gonna miss though is there's no more index cards that are gonna have to be put in between the chain and the ball to measure. When Gene Steratore did that, oh my god!
This is gonna have to be the farewell tour for chain gangs all around the NFL. Like we're gonna have to appreciate them. If I go to any NFL games this upcoming season, I'm gonna try to get the members of the chain gang to like sign something for me or something.
Yeah, be part of the last ever chain gang.
Yeah,
man. Until the technology apocalypse, and then we have to reset everything from square one.
Yeah, true. Until the power grid goes down, we got to play old fashioned pigskin.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be alive for that, but we'll see. Also, I'm gonna watch this clip about we're losing recipes.
We're losing recipes
because I'm very curious about it.
Oh my God, this is what's wrong with today. The young ladies today, they're not learning from mom how to cook. We're losing recipes.
They're not learning how to cook. We're losing recipes.
Oh my god, what is the context?
He's
of that?
spitting though, dude. What was the context? Does it say anything?
Let's
definitely first take.
Context is Peyton Manning, and then this out of nowhere. Oh, it's the Colts are losing Peyton Manning, and then he starts talking about how women don't know how to cook these days. We're losing recipes. What does that even mean? Like,
come on, Michael Irvin.
Oh my god,
we're losing recipes. That's my favorite quote. My bad. I'm sorry you didn't get the reference.
No, it's okay. I started talking about Blockbuster for no reason, so it's like we were going in left field from the start.
But yeah, VAR to the NFL. Let us know what you guys think from a fan's perspective. Would this be a good thing or a bad thing? In my opinion, I think it's a good thing. It would speed up the game. It would eliminate any sort of human interaction that could kind of rig a game that people have been complaining about. So yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. The only question for me is, are these Jerry Jones type of owners going to be voting yes on that? They're going to be like, technology? No, chain gang.
God, we got to keep Blockbuster, and we got to keep people from stop losing recipes. I'm not voting this. Well, what about some other news, man? What about Aaron Rodgers? Amidst all of the free agent moves, they got him a left tackle, they got him a wide receiver, they got him a guard, but there's some more important things.
Are we about to get political?
I don't know, man.
Bro, I hate getting political, dude. But if you're gonna make me get political,
let's talk about it.
Rodgers was not selected, but he's in the names. He apparently said that he would do this for potential presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy. Aaron Rodgers is looking like a vice presidential candidate for RFK in the Independent Party. Rodgers said that he would be down for this. Now the only issue is that Aaron Rodgers is an NFL quarterback, so there might be some sort of overlap between the two jobs he might have, such as the AFC Championship game being in the same week as the presidential inauguration this coming year. So I don't know, could be one of the most electric weeks of the year if you have Aaron Rodgers going from, standing up there at the podium, getting inaugurated with his boy RFK, which obviously probably won't happen. It's an independent party, but imagine that happens. Aaron Rodgers gets inaugurated with RFK, and then 2 days later, he's like, yeah, I got a football game. I got to play my way into the Super Bowl. That would be crazy. So yeah, I'm all for it. I won't even lie. Rodgers and RFK, they're getting my vote. If that actually comes out, if Rodgers is the VP, they're 100% getting my vote. So yeah, I'm a fan of that. Why not,
I mean, now is some of the most wild, piece of information that I've seen, just in my timeline on Twitter, just being I
don't know, dude. To me, I wasn't shocked. I was like, that's a Rodgers move.
I guess, yeah. When you put into context all the other stuff that he's been in the news for, immunization and darkness retreats and crazy Achilles surgeries and whatnot, then I guess it makes sense. But I just think there's no way this man is going to make it to office. But if he does, I mean, this could be insane. Imagine he's playing in the NFL and then he has to go home and then, pass a bill or something.
Yeah, his post-game press conference, he's like, well, man, I mean, the football game doesn't matter. What matters is climate change or something like that. He just brings that up. It'd be so funny. Yeah. Rodgers being a little politician, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
In other news, if we want to keep talking politics, Nick Saban sat down at a round table with Congress addressing issues in college athletics with the NIL situation and how it's changed the game. He sat right next to Ted Cruz, which is funny.
Crazy link.
Saban was quoted saying, "All the things I believed in through 50 years of coaching no longer exist in college athletics. He said that his wife came to him before he retired saying, "Why are we doing this? All these guys care about is how much we're going to pay him." Nick Saban and his wife, for that matter, they pride themselves on the development of young men. They say, you know, when they come to the University of Alabama, not only are they going to become a better football player, maybe an NFL prospect, but you know, they're going to be prepared to go get a job out of college. You know, they're going to grow from boys to men at the University of Alabama. And Saban's pretty much saying, now all that these guys are worried about is who's going to pay him the most. So he did address Congress about that, which, you know, I respect it. Like, I respect Saban going out there fighting for what he believes in. But at the same time, why are you complaining about players getting paid when you're like 30 million? Like, how many millions of dollars? How many tens of millions of dollars does Saban have?
He's got to be the highest grossing like college coach of all time.
Yeah,
There's no
of all
way.
time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess a little bit hypocritical coming from where he's at, but I don't know. I think he makes some good points. Like we saw here at the University of Iowa, Nick Saban retires. Caden Proctor, huge offensive tackle prospect, who originally committed to Iowa, decommitted, committed to Alabama, went there for his freshman season, started, right? He started at like tackle, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a freshman. Saban retires. Caden Proctor transfers here to Iowa. He's here right now in this semester. And then they announced it yesterday, he's transferring back to Alabama. So it's like, bro, you can't have anything in this world. Like, it's tough. The NIL it's become the wild, wild west in college athletics.
Someone said Proctor transferred back to Iowa just to watch Caitlin Clark hoop, and then he's out again. Now he's back to Bama.
Yeah, Kirk Ferentz had a funny quote. He was like, Caden Proctor's leaving, but good thing we didn't tell him any of our offensive schemes or anything like that so we could keep running what we ran last year. And everyone was laughing. But
there you go. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm so excited the fact that they didn't change anything from last semester. Yeah, of course. That's going to be great.
Yeah, but he makes a good point. He said he took the lion's share of their NIL money. Like, damn. I mean, as Iowa fans, like, now what do we have to look forward to?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
This dude literally came to Iowa, got millions of dollars, and then left and went back to Bama. Bro, we got played. This makes me want to side with Nick Saban on that issue.
A little bit. All right, well, last week we talked about our top 5 quarterbacks in the draft. Let's talk about top 5 running backs in the draft. So this is a really interesting running back class because I don't think that there's one like bona fide first-round guy. I mean, there might be a team that reaches and gets him in there, or that gets him in the first. But for the most part, I think there's going to be a huge run in the second and third round. The running back market went crazy in free agency, like a million swaps. Tony Pollard, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, Saquon, DeAndre Swift. I could sit here and name a ton more. A lot of teams are probably a little concerned about there not being like one standout guy in the running back class, so they got their guy in free agency. Nevertheless, we watched a lot of film on these guys. There's some exciting playmakers. We both have the same top 2 running backs on our list. Why don't you talk about Jonathan Brooks from Texas at your number 1 ranking?
Jonathan Brooks reminds me a little bit of Gibbs, just in kind of like his balance and his elusiveness, kind of that quick burst, his shiftiness. Pretty balanced back. You know, great anticipation. Whenever a hole opens up, he's gonna find it. Player comparison, we talked about this a little bit last night. Jamal Charles, I love that for him. And then, so you had the same player at number 1?
Yeah, so I had Jonathan Brooks as well. He only played there 1 year. He did tear his ACL, unfortunately, after 11 games, but he averaged 100 yards and a touchdown in those 11 games.
Yeah.
And this guy, he plays like Jamal Charles. He's got the NFL build, ideally what you'd want. He runs through arm tackles. Like you said, the balance is there. The power is there too. And he's an elusive runner as well.
Yeah.
And they didn't ask him to throw the ball a ton, but when he was asked to catch it, he did it well.
Yeah.
So I think that it's definitely banking on the traits here, and I won't say bank on the traits because he produced as well, but definitely worry about that injury. He didn't run at the combine because he's still recovering, but I think he's a stud, and whatever team gets him is going to have a starting running back, 3-down back type of guy.
Oh yeah. And then so at number 2, we both had Trey Benson. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Trey Benson coming out of Florida State. My player comparison for him is Nick Chubb if he was just a little bit faster. This guy's so fundamentally sound in the way he runs. He holds the ball, they say high and tight. Trey Benson holds it higher and tighter than anyone I've ever seen. It's actually crazy. It's like when he's running, the ball doesn't move from this spot. and he's just got monster quads. Like he's got huge legs. Super tough to take down. Super fun, great film to watch. You'll see the Nick Chubb comparisons if you check that out. But yeah, that's my number 2 back. And then, my 3, 4, 5, I think is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, so Trey Benson, I think, is like a height, weight, speed guy. He's 6 feet, he's 220 about, and he runs a 4.39.
Yeah.
And he's a bowling ball. Like, he's a big, like, physical power back. I think if he wanted to be a little bit more physical, he could be, and that would benefit him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he can run you over. He's got some wiggle. So, like, he's an elusive guy. Great vision. He has been a proven pass catcher when throwing the ball. Just the production in the pass game. Didn't ask him to do that a ton.
Yeah.
But yeah, so tell me about your number 3 guy on the list.
So at number 3, I got a guy from Kentucky, Ray Davis. Have you heard about Ray Davis?
I haven't watched his tape, actually, so tell me about him.
Ray Davis, man, he's a super fun back to watch, just so complete, like in every aspect of the game. He can be a 3-down kind of bell cow back if you want him to be. He can come out of the backfield and make catches. He's got a nose for the end zone, too. If you get inside the 2-yard line, like he'll find his way into the end zone. He's shown it time and time again. To me, my player comp for him is Arian Foster, just in the way that he's not the shiftiest guy in the world, but he's kind of like a one-cut guy, and then that burst is pretty crazy. Not the fastest guy. He only ran a 4.5 at the NFL Combine this year. But like I said, just got a nose for the end zone, quick, sharp open field cuts. 1,000-yard rusher for 3 different schools.
Wow.
Ray Davis. Yeah, that would be, I think, Temple, Vanderbilt, and then Kentucky. So just kind of worked his way up all throughout his college career. And a crazy story, he grew up homeless. He lived in a shelter, spent some time living with, teachers that he had. He would play NCAA, the football game, in the homeless shelter. So I guess maybe that's where he got his love for the game. His dad, who was unfortunately in and out of prison, his dad actually broke O.J. Simpson's high school rushing touchdown record.
Wow.
At some high school in California.
So he's got football in his DNA.
Yeah, football in his DNA. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. That's my favorite. That's probably my favorite back in the draft. I wouldn't say he's the best, but he might be the most complete.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I really like that because that's one of the guys I didn't spend a ton of time watching. But I'll give you my favorite back at number 3. I got Bucky Irvin from Oregon.
Nice.
He is so electric to watch. I mean, this guy is explosive.
They call him, over at Oregon, they called him Ducky Swerving.
Ducky Swerving. That's amazing. I mean, yeah, he's sick. Would love to see him in the NFL because, man, is he shifty?
Dude, he might be the
quick.
shiftiest back in this draft.
I would say he is. Now, is he going to wow you with his speed? I mean, he looks like he's fast on tape, but, he's a shorter guy. He's only about 5'9", so short strides. But he does. I think he plays faster than what he ran at the combine. His vision is great. He's really powerful for a guy his size as well. And he's only fumbled once in his entire college career. Was really productive at Oregon as well. One of the best pass catchers in the draft as well. And so this guy is going to be electric to watch. Not the best at pass protection. Like I said, he's a smaller guy. He maybe doesn't have the build to be like your 3-down guy. But this guy is just an electric playmaker. Somebody's going to take him in the second, get a really good prospect. Just turn on his film. He is one of the more fun running backs to watch in the draft.
Yeah, and he's a 3-down guy, like you mentioned. Something that kind of worried me was just like the decision-making seemed a little bit indecisive, kind of like DeAndre Swift. Like you get a handoff and you kind of want to make something happen behind the line of scrimmage instead of just hitting the hole. But yeah, I mean, that has its positives and its negatives. He's a big play guy. He can make guys miss. But yeah, super reliable pass catcher, makes guys miss so easily. Did you have any, or that was your third?
That was number 3. So do you have him on the list?
Wow.
Do you have him on your ranking?
I have him on my ranking, and I have him at 5. So
fair enough. We both got him in the top 5, though.
Yeah, and I assume, I don't know who you have at 4, but for me, at 4, I have Blake Corum from the University of Michigan. My only knock on him was he was behind Michigan's offensive line. And watching the film this year, not only their O-line, but their tight ends, like Blake Corum wasn't touched within, like he would get the ball someplace, he would run 20 yards before he was even touched. Like he just had wide open, gaping holes to hit. But he's a super balanced back, super good combination of strength, speed, balance. I kind of gave him like a Ray Rice, Khalil Herbert type comparison. just sort of like a thick back. He's got the speed. Some plays, like the anticipation, I would see Blake Corum juking before a handoff is even completed. Like, he's fun to watch. But yeah, I don't know if he has everything in his bag that you would want from a star NFL running back.
Yeah, I have him at number 4 as well. Really quick feet, and he's a great blocker. Not to mention pass catching, really soft hands. He's good there. They didn't ask him to do it a ton. He's stocky for his size as well. I think the only reason I have him at 4 is because the other guys, I see traits that make them a little more explosive, whereas Blake Corum, I don't think like the speed really like wows you. Like, he doesn't have that second gear that's noticeably like quicker. But at the same time, this is a guy who had a lot of volume, right? So in terms of like durability, he did have that injury, but for the most part, if you take this guy, you're getting a guy who has handled the ball a ton, pretty productive at the goal line. So yeah, throw him in behind a good offensive line, he'll produce.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about, let's see, we had number 5 for you, Bucky Irving. For me, this is Will Shipley. Now, this may surprise people. There's some other guys I really like Jalen Wright from Tennessee, Audric Estime from Notre Dame. I wrote a little bit about those two in an article that I put out. For the sake of time, we won't be able to talk about them today, but there's a link to my Substack on the Instagram. You can go ahead and read that article there. Will Shipley, though, from Clemson, I love Will Shipley. He plays with this really... It's a distinct running style. It's like he's always lurking. He's like always, he leans forward.
Yeah.
Which does mean he dives to the ground sometimes. But yeah, he plays with energy. This guy is fast. He was ultra productive as well. And he plays with great agility, wiggle. His cuts are so smooth. When he gets into the open field, he hits the gas. He has some return ability as well. Even hurdled the guy versus Louisville.
Damn.
He's not a power back by any means, and he's not the smoothest pass catcher, so those are the only knocks on him. But when I was watching his tape, I just loved his game. I loved watching him play. So I have him at number 5.
Yeah, that's a back I've been aware of for some time now. He played did he play 4 seasons at Clemson?
Yeah, I think he did. 3 or 4.
I feel like he's been there for a while. But yeah, he's fully developed at this point. I think he's going to make an impact in his rookie season.
Yeah, he played 3 seasons at Clemson, but he was the main guy pretty much every year. Well, why don't you tell me about one last guy, Marshawn Lloyd from USC? I know we were together watching film on him, and you really liked his game.
Yeah, I like Marshawn Lloyd's game. Definitely got some questions there, but I'd say he's just as shifty as our boy Ducky Swerving. Marshawn Lloyd's kind of got that like DeAndre Swift type build. Like, he's going to get a handoff, and he's going to try to make a move like immediately. He's going to try to make a jump cut, bounce something outside. He had that run against Colorado earlier in the season where it's one of those where, you get the handoff going left, and there's big group of guys there, and you cut it back all the way. Going to the right side, he bounced it back for like a 50-yard touchdown. That was crazy. Marshawn Lloyd is he didn't really quite crack my top 5, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan for sure.
Yeah, it's funny because he runs like aggressively, like kind of like a Pacheco style. But his game is a lot more like elusive.
It's smooth, yeah. It's aggressive but smooth.
Mm-hmm. Well, those are our top 5 running backs. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
So we got some questions in the that were submitted. Daniel asks, who will be the first non-edge defensive player drafted? You got an answer for that? First
Probably
thing that
came
came
a corner.
Yeah, I was going to say, first thing that came to my mind was like Quinion Mitchell or maybe Byron Murphy.
Yeah. Quinion Mitchell, I think, is now the worst kept secret in this class. Like Toledo, small guy, or small school guy. He could be the number 1 corner off the board. I think it's going to be him or maybe a Bama corner, probably Terrion Arnold or Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I like Byron Murphy from Texas, the D tackle. But yeah, it's going to be a corner. So my guess would be Quinion Mitchell, maybe like at 15 of the Colts, if not earlier. So that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Tyler's asking, are the Bears fools for getting rid of Fields or nah? Well, we touched on this a little bit earlier.
Yeah. You're fools for getting a 6th-round pick.
That is true.
I think. It's tough because it was so obvious you're going to take Caleb Williams. Like, what do? You just don't take the best prospects since, I don't know, Trevor Lawrence. Like,
you don't reset the clock for the quarterback. You don't have to pay Fields in a couple years.
Yeah. It just seemed way too obvious. So the leverage wasn't quite there in the trade market. But, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And I think they did what was best for Fields. They probably had other offers from other teams, but Fields wanted to go to the Steelers. That's the best situation for him. So I think they made the right move. And also Ryan Poles, like, doing what's best for the players. That's a good thing, right? That's what you want to see out of your GM.
Yeah, players will remember that.
Yeah.
Because maybe instead of getting like, a fifth rounder rather than a sixth, he settled to get Fields to the place that he wanted to be at, where he has a chance to maybe compete down the road. So, yeah, I like that. And a lot of respect to Ryan Poles. So, no, I don't think the Bears are fools. I think objectively that was the smart move, even if that's maybe not what the locker room would have wanted.
Yeah.
As DJ Moore said, business is business.
It is business.
So, one more question from Eddie. What teams are taking quarterbacks in the draft, including like trade-ups? So, Bears, for sure.
Bears.
Washington, for sure.
Commanders.
Patriots was kind of I personally think they'll take a guy.
I mean, who do they have? Bailey Zappi?
Jacoby Brissett is their guy now.
Nah, yeah,
for
I
a
trust
year.
that. I trust that. Then.
Yeah? They're not going to take one, you think?
Nah, I mean, I like Jaden Daniels of the Patriots. I think that's a pretty good fit. The only other options for me, I kind of like, obviously, Minnesota.
Yeah, the Vikings are going to trade up and get a quarterback.
Yeah.
They're going to.
And the only other option for me would maybe be like the Giants, just because what are you doing with Daniel Jones?
Right.
Like, that was just the biggest flop of a contract that you gave him. So, might as well move on sooner rather than later. So maybe they get like a Penix or something like that, or a Spencer Rattler.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say, there's a lot of guys who we talk about throughout the process who are like, oh, they need a quarterback. They take him in the first round.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys will fall to the second.
Like Bo Nix?
I won't be surprised if Bo Nix or even Penix, or I think McCarthy will go in the first, but I would not be surprised if he goes to the second. So I think teams like the Giants could pass on a quarterback at 6 and then go get a guy in the second or third round.
Yeah.
So I also think that about like the Broncos or maybe even the Rams.
True.
I think those two could take quarterbacks, but just maybe not in the first. And maybe even the Raiders, although we like Aiden O'Connell here on the show.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, so he might be the franchise.
Future Super Bowl champion.
All right, we'll see. But yeah, I think Bears, Commanders, Patriots maybe, Vikings for sure. Potential second, third round, you got Giants, maybe even the Saints, Broncos, Raiders, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that is going to be our show for today. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button on YouTube. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think about our running back rankings, our quarterbacks, who we're taking who over. Let us know what you think. Thank you guys for the support. We will see you next time.
Peace.
Take it easy.